You are so terrible with directions, Temba's wife said to him. Temba looks at her and says, I don't really know where you're going with this. Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams. I don't think you got that one, but it's okay, you'll get it. My name is Rams Mabot and thank you very much for choosing to join us. Once in a while, there is an opportunity that comes across and not many of us will see it. I'm so excited to be in studio with Fezile Dhlamini. He calls himself an erudite black startup entrepreneur. You know, the last time I heard the word erudite, it was in reference to Thabo Mbeki. So I'm glad to be sitting to an erudite next to an erudite human being here. He started a business called Green Scooter, which I believe more than about the business is a great opportunity for you who's listening, who's watching, or for somebody that you know, because it's a business opportunity that I think responds to the current situation that we're sitting in the country of unemployment, poverty, and all those sort of things. And here's a low-hanging fruit that I think Fezile and his partner have come up with. But let's meet the man to talk about his business himself, because the lion roars better on his own.
Yeah.
Fez, good evening.
Good evening.
Are you well, mate?
I'm alright.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Let's start with you. Who are you? I mean, how does a guy with strategic corporate comms end up in entrepreneurship?
Oh, in the EV space.
Exactly.
Well, my name is Fezile Dhlamini. I'm 28 years old. I am a strategic corporate communicator by profession, a business owner. Actually, I own two businesses. One is a marketing agency, building hardware, software, doing campaigns. Then there's Green Scooter, which is the EV OEM. Born, bred Soweto, exported to the burbs, grew up in various parts of the country, and now just settled and trying to make the world a better place.
Let's talk about Green Scooter. Where does it all start?
Green Scooter started back in 2015 when I was in Richards Bay, and I saw this thing that we see every day, which is the last mile transport.
Yeah.
First mile or last mile. And people in Richards Bay, they walk a great distance to try and get a taxi.
Yeah.
And I kept on saying, and it kept on being kasula. Why are people having to walk so much? Even though we did it while growing up in Soweto,
Yes.
and the like. And then I started to think about what's the next best thing that's going to happen. What's the next best type of vehicle that's going to come to the market, and that's where it started. I started my business plan on the 27th or so, on 27th, 28th of December 2015. Then I was done with it. But that was like probably, I was a beginner.
We all start somewhere.
Yeah, but I was done with it by January. Went and I registered the business. Then I started I spent a day on YouTube actually just looking at different types of vehicles until I find my manufacturing partner, and now we're partners all around. And that's where it all started.
Well, you make it sound easy. Manufacturing is a very expensive business. When you say partner, it does not mean that you found somebody who just said, I'm going to manufacture this thing and give it to you and you're going to become wealthy. It meant you have to procure these things.
Yeah.
They cost money. Yeah. So where are you manufacturing, and did you finally get funding to get loads and loads of green scooters in your warehouse that I can come and buy tomorrow?
So the product was already in the market. I pestered them for probably 2 years. It took 2 years for me to eventually, 2016, 17, 2 years of back and forth, sending emails. I seem like just the next person who always wants to try and work with them. But, having shared my business plan, I shared my business plan. It was quite advanced then. Then I eventually shared it. And then the relationship started. Started developing. Did I get funding? No. South Africa has so much red tape, has so much bureaucracy, which prevents entrepreneurs from getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
Being black is not going to help you in this place. It's either you're giving someone like a lunchbox, or someone really likes you. To be honest, with entrepreneurship, what I've come to learn is that when you're asking people for money, it's like you have to stroke their ego, and it becomes difficult stroking people's egos, especially 4 years down the line. For me, that of stroking egos, it's, can we get businesses funded based on merit? That's what I firmly believe in, because there's so many people with great ideas and they don't get anything.
if I were to represent the people who did not come forth with the funding and ask the question that they probably would have asked you, I want to hear the response. Why do you believe Green Scooter would work as a business? Where's the business sense in it?
Well, the business sense is that number one, we're faced with a fossil fuel crisis. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Fossil fuels are going to run out. Two, the world is dying out. So I had to look at it from an environmental perspective and a business perspective. Three, if you are trying to cut down costs, stop cutting down people, cut down your infrastructure. The infrastructure costs a lot of money to keep up or to keep to switch on. Excuse me. Four was creating a value chain. I realized that a business that only does one thing has a limited lifespan. So I had to look at where else can we target as a green scooter. So we've looked at charging station facilities and infrastructure, and that entire customer journey. Because a lot of people just think, yeah, just put this up and then people will come and charge. It's not that. It's 45 minutes of charging. Obviously, someone has to do so. There's an experience behind it. We've looked at manufacturing. We've looked at the financing side. So we've had I've had to spend time to show that okay, Sharp, over the next 20 to 50 years, this is what our business was going to be doing. I think that's. Have I answered your question? I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask it differently. You've answered half of it. So now I know about this thing, and I heard it from some program called Talk with Rams. Yeah. I get excited about it and contact you because they gave me the details.
Yes.
Let's talk about what does it cost me to acquire?
Yeah.
Where ideally would I be using this? Is it me going to a taxi rank and getting people in the last hop between the taxi and home, or home and taxi? Is it deliveries for restaurants and stuff? Where does it really work, and what are my potential returns? When do I break even?
When do you break even? Okay, cool. So you find yourself, the cost of ownership is 103,500. Okay. Right? That 103,500. Just remember, you have a vehicle now that you're not going to be paying fuel for. The wear and tear costs are next to nothing. So a full charge, if you stay within Gauteng, because we calculate based on the electricity rate, it costs you R5.56. So in business, where does it fit in? Because it's business and personal life. So let's say you stay in Sandton and you work here. The cost of that travel is gonna make you lose out in the end, because that's why vehicles are such a depreciating asset, because of the thousands of parts that always have to be refurbished. Versus ours, which is 280 parts, 17 of those parts are actually moved up to, but 15, 17 of those parts are the moving parts. So the cost of the capex is high, 103,000. It depends. It's also relative, but the opex is significantly much lower. So in a personal perspective, if you stay within, I would advise someone that if work is 20 kilometers away, get yourself a Zbee. The model is actually called a Zbee.
Yeah.
Get yourself a Zbee.
So you call it a Zbee.
Yeah. So there's a Zbee. So there's a Zbee RS, and then there's a Zbee Cargo. So the Zbee RS is the passenger vehicle, where driver, 2 passengers, comes with sales. Has a boot space at the back, which is about 50 cubic centimeters. Then you have
what's that in English? Like how much does it fit?
Let's say you can put in 3 backpacks.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Then you have your the cargo. The cargo is built for delivery. So that one has 1,000 cubic centimeters of space. Has one seat only for the driver. Has its sails. Then at the back has a mechanism that opens and closes like a buggy, like a van. That one, it's 1,000 cubic centimeters. Let's say you can put in 10 backpacks. Actually, 10 and more. So I'd probably 15 backpacks. So that vehicle is built for the delivery. The ecosystem is the e-services space.
Yeah.
Passenger, either personal or either e-hailing space. So if you right now within the e-hailing market, people are making about 15K a month, 15 to 20K a month.
Yeah.
And that's just the e-hailing e-services. People are making between 10 and 15. So that's where you find yourself. So let's say with a Checkers, they've just launched the new 60/60 delivery service. You can maybe go buy the vehicle and opt to join that platform, or you can go and join an Uber or an Uber Eats or a Mr. D. Zulzi, like there's many companies,
Yes.
that are there where when you come in, like I think when I was doing a pilot with another company, over 2 weeks ago, the one guy drives a Polo, so he's spending 5K a month on gas, and he's just delivering food.
Yeah.
And another guy, it's like the big station wagon-ish VW one. I forgot what model it's called, but that guy was spending about 7.5 a month. So
Just on fuel.
Just on fuel.
Yeah.
Like even though the 7.5 guy, his car's paid off, but he's still spending that much money, and not factoring the wear and tear. The wear and tear he's spending about 1,000 to 1,500 a month.
Yeah.
So I think I've given an idea in terms of where it fits in terms of from an ecosystem perspective. So we are also working with a number of companies trying to open up those opportunities. So on our website, we've just launched the drive with us option. So that drive with us, we eventually thought that, okay, cool, we've got X amount of vehicles right now. Let's take these vehicles and put them in the streets and on these platforms that we've closely been working with.
Yeah.
So if you have a motorcycle license, a PRDP license, and obviously other particulars, then we may consider you. But then we found that there's a huge gap now, just like between the middle, the poorer and the higher class, is that South Africans don't have a motorcycle license. And they don't have a PRDP. If they ever do have a PRDP, it's associated with a code 10. If they have a code 8, there's no PRDP. So now we found ourselves that, okay, cool, we were very non-inclusive because we only wanted people with the licenses. Now we had to go and say, okay, change strategy. Let's give these people training, and hopefully someone will pay for it. It's still a model we're trying to work out. Someone will pay for it, and then we get people equipped with a motorcycle license, equipped with a PRDP, and then they can join us through these platforms, and then they can make money out of it.
So there's competition out there. I mean, and e-hailing systems are already competition, but I've also seen other scooters around the train station. I can't remember the name, what they call them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you factored that in?
No. I think we've spoken to everyone. And I think everyone in the market knows about us. There's no two ways about it, because our model right now is better than anyone else's. That's just a vehicle alone. In terms of the e-hailing space, yes, we started off wanting to launch into the e-hailing space because, like I said, the vehicle and the platform are both enablers of each other.
Yeah.
Because once people start seeing 100, 200,000 Zbees on the road, what happens? Hey, I think I need one.
Yes.
So that's where we started, and that didn't work out as planned, even though we have the app fully successfully developed. Then I decided to change the strategy. The strategy was just, hey, look, here are vehicles. Let's get guys connected on these platforms, and when they're connected on those platforms, the data of what happens is going to be shared with us.
Yeah.
So then we're using that data to better, if we ever decide to launch an e-hailing platform, we already know how the entire system works. Because even our vehicles, you don't need a tracker. It has its own Zbee Connect software.
Oh, good. I was going to ask you about the
fact that Zbee Connect software.
How does it get not stolen from me? I'm glad with that.
Yeah.
Final question. We spoke about this off air. I just want you to help me. So I invest 103,000 rand in the Zbee. Give me a practical calculation of my potential returns and break even.
So when I did this pilot, which was for the e-services, I think one of the questions was, when do I break even?
Yeah.
When I did this pilot, we used we used 3 different models. We actually used 2 different models. One is the latest one, which has a battery range of 90 kilometers, and the second one has a battery range of 75 kilometers. So, and that was an older model. So I wanted to see how they fare, and we worked around Santon. So a day on those platforms, I made, because I was literally the delivery guy.
Yeah.
So I made about, I think about 250 a day, 250 plus a day. But I only worked between the mornings and the afternoons, and we worked every day because we wanted to see what the behavior was. So if you're working at about 200 rand a day, just over 10 days, that's your 2K, and then over a 30-day period, that's about 6K, but that's like us only working half a day.
Yeah.
But you can find yourselves paying back your vehicle with the model that we have worked out, which is about less than 24 months. If you want to be aggressive, you can make sure it pays you back over 24 months. But if you don't want to, it's something that you can probably stretch, because people have needs. And looking at the economy right now, people are trying to save and not pay as much as possible. So you're looking at 24, 36 months, then you start seeing your actual returns, because once you've factored in paying off the vehicle on a monthly basis on these e-hailing, e-services platforms, you're looking at a cost to you of at least 400 Rand a month.
That's it.
And
lifespan? Do I have to come back to you in 5 years and buy another?
5 to 10 years? Yeah. No, we'll probably just change your drivetrain, change your motors, change your battery, and then you're back on the road.
Wow, Fez. Look, I'm always advocating for something that can make people self-sufficient, and I see this in the Zbee. For me, it's not only answering the environmental issue, which is brilliant. We have to go green.
Yes.
But we're living in a country where increasingly people are going off the system of earning a living, and they have to start making their own money.
Yeah.
And if you just left your job and you're sitting with 400,000 Rand, trust me, it's going to be out of your pocket in the next year. So you probably need something that will help you to make it work for you. And I see this as one of those. And
I'm going to tell you something, is that yesterday I was listening to the radio, and the guy made a particular statement where he said, owning a vehicle is no longer a luxury, it's a need.
Yeah.
And that's because of how bad our transportation system is. So that's what we've also looked into, is that how can our one vehicle be a feeder system for a Nord taxi rank, a Bree taxi rank, because people need to be fed into the system as quickly as possible.
Look, when I sit in the little place I live in, so there are lots of domestics there.
Yes.
But between the station where there's taxis and where they work,
that distance, it's actually quite painful. Yeah. Like this morning as I was driving here, I'm seeing this the one domestic. It's an elderly lady, and she's running to her job. You can see
she's running late.
She's running late, and that's because of the taxi system.
Yeah.
That's at play. Even though it's one of the most functional businesses in the country, but it's also it has its flaws. So we also want to try to see our vehicles participating within that sector with your Santacos as a feeder.
Yes. Not as competition.
I don't want to be a competition. We just want to try and participate as a feeder, so that they can get as many people filled up in time. Because remember, when you used to take a taxi, you had to sit and wait for it to fill up. Or sometimes if the guy is driving, he's probably driving at 30 kilometers. Beep, 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 and then you find someone all the way there.
Sometimes he reverses.
He'll reverse.
Yeah, he makes a U-turn.
For
one person.
It's stuff like that which we want to see change in this country.
Fezile, great talking to you, my brother. Fezile Dhlamini, give us the details. How do we get hold of you? How do we do business with you?
Well, you can get onto our website, greenscooterzA.com. There's a section for sales where you can contact for any purchasing, where we have a reservation agreement, fully refundable, $2,500 or $170 if you're from abroad. And then my number's on there, so I always get random phone calls, even at 10 o'clock at night. I'll gladly pick it up and I'll talk to you. So on our website, greenscooterzA.com, my number is on the website, my email address is on the website, and we are on social media as Scooter RSA.
I truly believe this is a good opportunity, so I think you must give it a try. If you missed these details, we are on Talk with Rams on all social media platforms, and please subscribe to our podcast and YouTube at Talk with Rams. Thank you very much, Fez.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thanks, man.
Good luck with no funding.